Yo, you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This time, yeah.
Welcome to the One More Thing podcast, your favorite tech podcast. I'm Quasi,
And I'm Adam.
and funny story, today we are actually not in the same state. I don't know if you can tell because of the same background,
It's a little
but
different this time, yeah.
we got a little bit of a different background here. I'm currently on sabbatical. I've returned to my house. I'm spending time with family, but I love you guys, so we're getting this episode out.
Appreciate that, Quasi.
Of course.
Let me tell you, it has been a interesting week in tech. I mean, I had to reduce some of the stories because there's so many things to talk about. So this episode's probably not going to be under an hour. We'll see what we can do here, but we're going to try our best to get through all this stuff so you guys are filled in. Okay? Now, Quasi, have you been following the court case with Epic versus Apple at all?
Just a tiny bit,
Just
just
a
a
little
tiny
bit.
bit.
I have to say the outcome was not what I wanted, but Apple did a sneaky little move. Let's just put it that way. It's a little sneaky that I don't think anybody thought it was going to come. They actually blocked Fortnite from being put back in the App Store. What are your thoughts about this, Quasi?
Well, I love to say it sucks to suck. Um, but I gotta be honest with you. Uh, this is not great because you know what comes next. The
Oh,
court case is gonna get extended. The EU is gonna try and twist Apple's arm behind its back, and in general, this just can't be great for Apple. But I do like that they're taking a stand, and I do like that they're standing up for themselves and not letting Epic Games walk all over them.
I mean,
So,
they've been walked over enough lately. Let's give them a win for a change.
no,
The one
definitely.
thing I'll say with this is, am I glad there's no Fortnite on iPhone or iPad? No, I'm not really glad about that. What I'll say this is, as I said before, I had different opinions of why um, Epic did what they did than most people, but I don't think the court case ever said they had to approve the app, like at all. I think if they did approve, they had to allow certain guidelines for in-app purchases, which they were willing to do after they were told to do it. But this, they have to realize this decision that they made is going to for sure have an outlash between the community and Fortnite creators Epic, because there is no way they're just going to let this slide. They're going to use whatever they can in the legal system to get their way to get back on the iPhone so they can then prove their point again. I I'm curious to see what the reason is behind that they blocked it, because there's no really underlying reason for. I think it's just because being petty, spite reason if you want to
Yeah,
call it that.
I feel like it's probably spite.
But you know, I guess this is going to just open up some more discussion with the courts and, of course, Apple and Epic potentially. But I really think that this is just a turning that I was not expecting at all. I mean, it was a long time before they responded to Epic anyway with their decision to not put in there. But it was just interesting to me. Um, Audience, I want to know what your thoughts are. What's your thoughts on this court case in general? Let us know in the comments and Discord, because you obviously hear me and Quakesy's stance on this, but we want to hear your stance. I'm going to open that discussion in Discord because, you know, this is something that's just going to carry on, and I think it's not over by any means yet. So let us know what you think. Is there any more comments you want to see about this, Quasey, or do you have any more
Um,
things to talk about?
just I gotta be honest. I hope that Apple kind of doesn't get a lot of backlash for this because yes, it's about standing up for yourself at this point, but also I know that the gamers loved Fortnite Mobile for some reason. I always say I don't understand it because Fortnite Mobile is not the greatest. Fortnite on other consoles is greatest. Maybe on computers is great. On Xbox is obviously great. PS5 is great. I don't understand why you want to play it on your iPad.
Well,
But
I think the
good.
performance overall worked pretty well. I mean, it's not overall a high intense game that requires a lot of processing power. But as we know, the new iPads, for instance, can easily achieve that gameplay, no doubt. And I'm curious to see if kind of a combat to this decline in the App Store, if we're going to see a lot of Game Pass people use cloud gaming to play Fortnite on their iPad, which they definitely could. And one
No,
thing
I
I'm
do that.
curious too is, you do? I'm also
Yeah,
curious of this. I saw a lot of kids play an iPad for Fortnite that were not using a controller. They're using just like
just the
on-screen
touch
touch
control.
controls.
Yeah, it's
That
weird.
that is the game already like requires you to be incredibly wonderful at PvP and just like twitchy players, I would say. And to not play on a controller, I don't know how they're doing that. That's a next level of gaming. This is no reason why I'm not good at PvP. I can't do that type of control on an iPad, first off. And when I'm playing, they are so much faster at building than I am. It's insane. But in any case, it's beside the point. Um, the next thing, and can you share a screen for this next thing that we have? It's a pretty big deal that Apple released recently,
Yeah, 1 second.
and the name could have definitely been better. By the way,
Why is it only offering me Chrome tabs? Hold on.
okay. Well, I'll talk to them while you do that. How about that?
Yeah,
Apple has officially not just announced but released next gen CarPlay, which is called CarPlay Ultra, and I'm very excited about this. This is something that I was not expecting them to do. The name, I mean, come on. My first thought in my head, Quasi here, Ultra, is it's larger, which it kind of is in
right.
a
Yeah,
sense.
because it kind of encompasses the entire dashboard.
The entire screen.
And
Now,
yeah,
one thing to note, some people were actually asking in comments and videos I've seen about this, am I going to be able to get the experience of that car layout and design in this CarPlay mode? And the answer is yes, because you can definitely have the same color scheme and looks of like an Aston Martin, for instance, or other brands that are going to have this feature. And you can also utilize the iOS and Apple design features of it as well. So it's not just like here's Apple's design, that's all you get. You can customize it. And that to me is wonderful. I'm not sure why, if you look at the pictures here, why you pick the Aston Martin one over Apple, because it looks like it's just awful from Aston Martin compared to Apple. But it's beside the point. It's more so Apple has done this, and it's not just one screen anymore. It's your dash plus your center console kind of area as well. Not center console, the center dash, if you want to call it that. And that's pretty impressive. What are your thoughts, Quasi?
you know, um, for me right now, I have what, two cars that support. Well, they're not my cars; they're my parents' cars. To be fair, to be honest, I haven't driven either of them, but they both support CarPlay. The rest of my cars don't. I don't know what the rest of my cars have to do with this, but I gotta be honest with you. Apple CarPlay is already great. Sure, I'd rather have an iPad up there, but Apple CarPlay is great, right? Let me not diss it too much right now. But I feel like CarPlay Ultra, obviously, Ultra with Apple, is always locked behind a premium price point. But an Aston Martin, yeah, no. Until they bring it down to regular vehicles, I don't think I can fully say that Apple CarPlay Ultra is, the greatest thing ever, if that makes sense. I
Yeah,
think,
I think, well, it's just going to be an Aston Martin to begin with, correct? To my
yeah,
understanding. And I mean, it's only $200,000 starting and up to
it's
$3.5
only,
million. So, I mean, if you have that like in your wallet ready to go, maybe that's fine. But um, obviously, they're going to have this for more cars than just this. I do want to see the one car I want to see car playing is Tesla. And I'm not sure if we're going to see that, to be honest with you. But I'm just curious to see how this is going to roll out. You are definitely showing your other screen, by the way.
ooh,
That's okay. Um, But yeah, I just wanted to see what your thoughts were about this. I think it's a pretty nice little addition to things for CarPlay when it has to offer, because now it's not just like one little screen that shows like some apps and some playlists and whatnot. It's more so the whole experience of the whole car OS, if you want to
Right.
put it that way. I'm excited. So the one thing is, um, but I want to see if this CarPlay Ultra comes in third party like removable units
Well,
for. It'd be nice.
I don't think it can come in third party removable units because it kind of it encompasses like the speedometer and a lot of the other actual functions of the car. So I don't know how that would work.
Well, I wonder if that can be like hooked up, if that makes sense.
Right.
I'm not saying like there are some units that you could take like with you to another car, but those same units have different ports to plug into the car directly
Right.
still, or like you're replacing the actual screen itself with this built into it and it hooks up to everything. I guess that's more what I'm saying. So I guess it's not removable all the time, but there are certain ones that do that if that's possible. So we'll see. But
Right.
any case, let us know what you guys think in the comments for this too. This is a new little feature, not little, it's an ultra feature, and I'm just more curious if this is something you guys would like to see in your cars or not. If you like the current CarPlay, and we'll see.
Right. Okay. While we're on the topic of Apple, I think this is a tech podcast, but we mostly talk about Apple. So let's keep that trend going a little bit.
Okay.
So we recently received some news that the 20th anniversary iPhone might be totally bezel free and have a high-tech battery. Now, what does that encompass? Um, so let's explain what a bezel is really quick. This is my iPhone 15. This little, well, that's not even the actual phone. That's my case on it. Black stuff I was pointing to. But this black stuff around the side is the bezel, right? If you're listening to the podcast, um, you did not see the demonstration I just did, but these are the bezels, and they're getting them pretty small right now. The bezels have been pretty small. They used to be to hide like the camera in and everything, but now we don't need that. So obviously, for some reason, we want thinner and thinner bezels. I feel like they're fine where they're at, but everybody seems to want thinner bezels. So there, it'll just be a more clean look, in my opinion.
The one thing that excites me more than anything of a edge to edge iPhone for screen is the removal of one accessory that I have been despising for the last century, it felt like.
An
And that
accessory?
is, yes, that's how long I feel like this has been out. And that is what they call a case friendly screen protector. That has destroyed the entire market of screen protectors. And here's why I say that. I believe Airbox is the brand that when they started coming out with their cases, case manufacturers, along with screen protector manufacturers, thought, guess what we need to do? We have to allow what they thought was a 55-inch gap between the edge of the phone and the screen to cover up, which actually covers up some screen real estate, if you can believe it. And the problem with that is, no case that exists that I know of covers that much of the screen. So
Right.
now the case and the screen protector has a gap. That gap gets dirty and it gets things in there, and there's no reason for it. Now I have a partial of my screen that's not protected, which I thought was the reason for a screen protector, not a partial screen protector. So I am more excited if they can just have a screen protector that covers the entire screen, like just all of it, from edge to edge.
Right.
I hate. Well, here's the reason for it. They didn't reduce the price when they did this. It's the same price as they used to have before. What's the full screen protection? I'm cheated, Quasi. I don't like it.
No, it's understandable. I personally hadn't heard of a case-friendly screen protector until just now when you mentioned
Oh
it.
my. Well, because that's just how they all are now. That's what you don't hear. It's just the standard. And it makes me upset and crazy. I don't like it. But in any case, I feel like because they did this, that makes my screen protectors now just more peel up easier in the sides. They get bubbles, And who likes bubbles on their screen? Not me. I hate them. So,
Not me either.
so I'm sorry. I got a little bit upset about that, but this excites me
That's
because
completely
now
fair.
it's going to force them to now have edge-to-edge screen protectors again, which I like to have.
I gotta be honest.
Sorry.
My screen protector was definitely edge to edge before I took it off a couple weeks ago.
You have to send me a link, and we'll probably have to post that in the description because I don't know of any that
Yeah,
do that
to help
anymore.
people out.
Oh my gosh. So,
Okay.
back to this little topic though, to be quick about it. So, yeah, edge to edge is gonna be very nice, and I don't know if this is gonna have the curved edge or not. That's something we'll see. I'm not sure
Right.
yet. Young has not determined that yet. All we know for sure is it's gonna be an LG display again, which LG makes most OLED panels. So I'm excited to see that. But what we don't know about this is there's nothing in here. Is it OLED or is it going to be micro LED? I'm not sure yet.
I'll put my money on OLED. Well, actually,
Me too.
20th anniversary.
That's what I'm saying.
Ah, I might have to be micro or mini
ID
LED.
micro, which for those who do not know, micro LED is a better screen technology than OLED, except for the true blacks. Now they're getting better with that, but the clarity and the crisp image and the
The
HDR and all
color
that fun
gambit.
stuff.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness, dude,
it just
I just love it.
I do too. You can't go back. Once you see it, you can't go back. That's why it's hard to
I'm
buy an
telling
OLED
you, man.
TV and get an LED. You can't do that. It's just not possible. In any case, though, I'm excited to see this. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this, or if you even care about this. And
Yep,
I
just one
mean,
more thing though. There's also a new solid state battery that's gonna be made out of pure silicone. That's
ooh,
kind of less important than the display for the 20th anniversary iPhone, but it's also something noteworthy. So
what should we
I'm like
discuss
getting
in the actual
completely
podcast?
washed out right now because of lighting in my room. We will fix that
Yeah.
next episode.
Okay, then it's okay. It works. Okay, so Quasi, are you a subscriber of Netflix by any chance?
Not anymore.
Oh, well,
I've actually
there.
personally never subscribed.
Okay,
My
I
father
used
was a
to.
subscriber.
Well, I'll say about Netflix just quickly. I think the whole platform of content delivery and the back end, how they just work, is pretty fantastic overall. They're doing that very right. I think their quality of content, not I'm not talking about like how they write stuff, I'm talking about the physical media quality of like here's their 4K and 1080p. That's lackluster at best. They can do
Mm.
better, they know they can. Especially if their own content, like their own original content, they can do better. But besides all that, I saw this stat that is exciting at the same time, but also shocking to me. That the ad include plan that is $8 a month is taking off more than I ever expected. I never thought in a million years that a service that you pay for, okay, would include ads and people like it. What's going on with this, Quasi?
I don't know, man. Uh, you know me, Adam. When it comes to Spotify, I buy Spotify Premium. When it comes to YouTube, I buy YouTube Premium.
Yes.
Why is that? Because I abhor ads. I had to bring out a strong word for it, but that's how strong the feeling is. I hate ads with every fiber of my being, especially because, like, I'm one of those people who watches YouTube until they fall asleep. It's probably not great for me,
No, no,
but
probably not.
you know, it's not like I'm watching like gaming videos to go to sleep. I'm watching educational videos because I
Of
want to be
course.
learning until the point where I'm asleep. And then I want to learn in my sleep, if that makes sense. I can't tell you any of the things I learned in my sleep, but before that I can. Um, what does that have to do with anything? I absolutely hate ads. So as a result, I don't understand how people are okay with ads showing up in the middle of the episode. You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't know if it's in the middle of the episode, but I know it's like Prime Video. Prime Video, I think it charges you an extra 2.99 to get the ads off from like, because they'll play ads like three times in the middle of your show. And the only reason I opened Prime Video is because I wanted to watch Invincible. So I feel like I shouldn't be pelted with ads. in that 8 episode season of Invincible, I think I watched at least 60 something ads, which is
My
outrageous.
gosh.
I definitely didn't
Back
have to watch the ads. I have a streaming service provided by you that, doesn't come with ads, but sometimes you got to do it for the experience.
yeah,
That you
no.
hate.
Okay, here's what I'll say. If there's going to be ads, the only way to make it acceptable is I think you see this with certain like I think it might be Prime or some other platform where they play the ad before the content. So let's say you have to watch an ad or two before the show or movie plays. That, although is not fun still to see, is more acceptable in my eyes than during the episode or movie. That do not stop my content to show some ads. That needs to stop forever, just like forever. But what I'll tell you is this: the before is not as bad if there's going to be something, but that service has to be free if they're going to have ads. That's how it used to be. Did you know that cable was free because they had ads? And then they said, wow, ads make us money. Let's make some more money and charge the customer a subscription cost plus ads. And I feel like in TV shows now on live broadcasting, there are so many ads. I mean, I think the Super Bowl is a great example of
Oh,
making
but the Super
countless
Bowl is
billions
fun
of
ads,
dollars with
though.
ads.
Like, I
You
like
know,
Super Bowl ads.
well, you do, but was the last Super Bowl ads even worth watching? Like, not really.
I
There
think
was
you
a
might have missed
couple.
the good ones.
Okay, maybe I did, but what I'll say too,
And
I think the reason that this is such a popular plan is because it gets back to the price they used to charge for no ads. So I think it's all about cost. Because Netflix thinks that their subscription is worth every penny and they charge so much money. So when they lost a lot of customers because of their pricing model, now an $8 plan with ads is the only reason why people will probably still use them
well,
so they can get back to full pricing.
if it's cutting costs for them and it's offsetting that cost by having those ads, I feel like maybe it is worth it. Not for me, but it's
I'm
worth it.
I'm curious to see how much they bring in for ad revenue because of this. I don't know. Not quite sure.
Yeah, that'd
But
be fun to see.
I think okay, here's what they could do. Now, would you say that this is acceptable? If Netflix tomorrow came out with a plan, new plan, guys, ready for this? Fresh off the press. We're going to have a new plan that has ads, okay? Beginning,
Okay.
one in the middle, maybe one at the end. Whatever they're going to do, but the plan's free. What do you think then?
Oh no, like that's fair.
That's fair. I agree. Okay?
Like
But do not
it's not a bad plan.
charge me and have ads. That is unacceptable. I hate
Well, I don't
that.
know about unacceptable. Like
Oh, it is.
I think Hulu is really the main uh the main culprit. Because I remember back in the day, Hulu had, well, I think it still has um, two, what is it? Two different tiers of subscription, and one is like 5.99 for ads, and then one's like 10.99 for without ads. And it just I see where they're coming from, but also it's like, what the heck, man? You know what I mean?
It's 10
Like,
bucks with ads. With no ads, just a small increase of $9 more
oh,
with no
oh,
ads.
that's
Yeah.
horrible.
That's not good.
That's
It's,
horrendous.
and they're trying to incentivize the ad plan because makes some more money, right? We can still make money off you plus the ads.
Right.
So, you know, what I'm getting at is it shocked me that okay, the number is 20 million new active subscriptions from this plan alone.
That is insane. But you know what? What they say, if it ain't broke, don't
Yeah.
fix it.
And for those who do not know about Netflix, so back in the day they had a mixture of their own content plus other platforms, other services. That's nice. they're really focusing now more their own original content, and they have a lot more foreign TV shows and movies that really I think holds them together. And I'm not saying what they have otherwise is awful. What I'm saying is they're seeing their stats. There's a lot of people that have Netflix that watch like Korean and Chinese and Japanese movies and shows, and that's not a big market in the United States as far as providers. There is, I think, Viki and then Netflix, and
Who's Vicky?
that is owned by Rakuten or Buy.com or something like that. That's their service. And there is a huge influx of people watching that content in the United States now. That's great. So the market's so small for who offers that, besides buying like a Korean or a Chinese streaming service, which you can do as well. So I think that having that included in the pricing with the original content they have is actually kind of nice. So just know that as well. I think that's probably what's holding them together mostly over everything else because their actual content besides that, some are good and some are just okay. They can be better, but they have to also fix another problem that they have, and that is if you're going to have original content, release the 4K and 1080p variant at the same time. There's a backstory with this really quick, not to go too far off topic. They will release a new like show or movie that's their own content in 1080p only first because if they have 4K also it's more bandwidth. And what I gotta say to that is that's BS. Their 4K at Netflix is so small and so lackluster. You're talking about a maybe 3% increase in bandwidth. I know that's more. It costs more money in the long run, but I don't know if that's going to break your guys' servers and infrastructure. I gotta be honest with you. If you were having like an HBO Max 4K file, it's like 30 or 40 gigs per episode.
Right.
Okay, I understand that, but you're not doing that. So don't say that's the reason why you don't have it out in 4K as well. I hated that. That's why that's the second I dropped the 4K plan because I could not watch the newest Netflix movie in 4K when it came out. I had to wait a week. Who? Why is that okay? It's not okay. It's not okay. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
No, you're completely fine.
Let's
Uh,
let's go on to another topic before I get more mad.
okay.
Okay.
So remember earlier this week, or not this week anymore? It's a new week. Remember last week? It was like Friday, and you sent me the article on the jerry rig everything video.
Yes.
So I actually
Do.
right then and there, I watched that video. Because I love watching jerry rig everything. Before I
He's
tore down my phone and fixed the battery myself, I had watched his teardown video like 8 times just to make sure I was gonna do everything right. I did successfully do everything right, and we didn't blow anything up. I gotta tell people that every chance I get. However, right, the Google Pixel 9a just came out, and he reviewed said Pixel 9a, which obviously is a budget phone. It's kind of crazy that you call $500 a budget, but you know.
yeah.
And he said in the video, everything about this phone is good, so why am I not recommending it? And it seems that first off,
Yeah, share screen so you can
the,
see it. Because
oh,
you
hold
have
on.
to see this little
Let's-
screenshot
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Mashable has posted.
Screen share, entire screen. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, let me get off my
Let, let's
my
look at the
reader.
title of what he called the episode. Do not buy the Google Pixel 9a. This guy, if you don't know, is a Android like connoisseur. He loves Android. I don't think he's completely one sided with things. He'll give Apple credit where credit is due, but this guy is like fully Android and he loves it. So what's interesting to me is in this video. So yeah, this is what I want to show right here. He says the word nope. And
Nope.
Quasey, do you want to tell him why, or do you want me to tell him?
So when I was watching it, it seems that the battery, like the way that it's put on there, I think it's like glued on. Wait, I can just read the article. Yeah, so the battery is glued on, and apparently it performed very well in testing. But Jerry everything was saying how ridiculously hard it is to remove, and how everybody else on the market has moved on from gluing their batteries down like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's the specific way it's glued down, not the fact that it's glued down.
Well, is it soldered or is it glued? I didn't watch the video myself yet. I should
I think
have.
it's just glued.
Glued.
Let's go over here. Can you hear the audio?
No. But that's okay. So he's just taking things apart. Great. Whatever he's doing there, he's getting something.
Yeah, so it's just the way that it's glued on there. And he was saying even when he puts the isopropyl alcohol on it, it doesn't even soften up, which is not great for battery removals. I should
And
have used isopropyl alcohol when I was doing mine. I did not
could
do
have,
that.
but that's safe. Let's who cares about that. What I'll say is I think we're in the current time that we have tech for phones, batteries aren't supposed to be removed like people try to do all the time. I know with Apple, theirs are glued too, but not in the way this is. It's like strips that you can pull out that's designed to do that. I know with anti-consumer laws that's out now, they're trying to get back to a state where you can replace your battery again. Because
Right?
people will have a battery that degrades over time and they want to replace it. And back in the day, all it took, Quasi, like a couple
You
screws
just
taken
pop
out,
it out.
pop it
You
out,
just
and you
pop it
just
out.
replaced it. That's all you had to do. And I remember with the Razor. Did you ever have the Razor by chance from Motorola?
No,
You didn't.
like I'm sure my parents did, but
You really
I was
missed
too
out.
young. I was like maybe four.
So?
4 year olds should not have a phone. 4 year olds should not have an iPad. It actually makes me kind of upset when I see, the little handheld iPad case.
Oh, I do. Yes.
I hate seeing those.
Which was only used by little kids to swing the iPad and hit something with. By the way, yeah,
Yeah, there's no point to it.
yeah.
It's not. I
That's all it
hate
was for.
those are horrible.
The handle always worked though, and the
It did.
case was nice too. It was just they use it for destruction more than anything else.
Destruction, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, that wall has no hole. Let's fix that really quick.
I
But any case, so
think mom and dad wanted to renovate right there.
yeah. It's small. Let's make it a little bigger. I won't fit the whole basketball at this time. But any case, so I don't know if the reason for this is because they don't want you to replace the battery or it's a safety concern. Not sure why they're saying this at all. But okay, let's first go back. You watched the video.
I
Is the
did.
back of the phone something you can remove easily, or is it like you have to have the heat gun, do all that stuff?
Uh, I mean, for a tech repair, it's kind of easy, but you definitely
Okay.
do need a heat gun.
Okay.
So I don't know
It's not
how
like you can't like
feasible
push a
it is to
button and
do
remove
it
the
at
back.
home.
It's not like that.
No,
Okay.
no. But then again,
That's fine.
I think that's better for waterproofing and stuff because
Oh, absolutely. I'm
so
not dissing them with this by any means. Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna diss the whole battery thing only
right,
because this just tells me that they want to do it themselves. They don't want anybody else to do this. When Apple was criticized for not letting people do this for many years, and now they started to let this happen, kind of in the sense of you can have right to repair your own device, and I get that. I think more so it's not for us to replace ourselves, but to allow third party shops to do it. That's
right.
the biggest thing that came out of all of that.
And
But sounds
that's where
like this is going to
litigation
be
comes in.
almost impossible to replace this battery. So we'll see about how this kind of rolls out. But I kind of liked seeing that Jerry Rig did this because it showcases what the industry is probably leading into. I'm not quite sure this is something that I want to see for all devices because I think the battery should be able to come out on any device. And
Right.
here's the thing. Maybe make a battery that does not require you to take out the whole battery to replace it. What if you can like take two screws out the very bottom, right, and just like push it like you were like an S pen or something like that, and then it
Well,
comes
I
out.
don't know about all that
I don't know. Just saying, there's been people that
because
have been discussing this.
again, waterproofing. You want the IP68 rating. Matter of fact,
Well,
I want an IP69 rating.
you still can though with this idea. What they're showing that I've seen online is this little like cover has a ring around its rubber. And when you unscrew the very bottom of it, then it's not waterproof, right? But the two screws, he moved that rubber piece as close as it can to that body that allows it to be waterproof still. So in
Okay.
their testing, it was a case actually. Then they had like this smartphone that wasn't quite out yet that they were working to do something like this. But I, I think it's a cool idea, cool concept. In practicality, we're not sure yet. So not sure if this is going to be a standard for the rest of everybody else, but um, let us know in the comments below if you think this is a good idea or a bad idea and why. The comments and Discord. We want to hear your feedback on what we're talking about for sure, because it's not just our opinion, it's yours too. This is not just
Right.
our show, it's your show. So let's see how this plays out, and let's see if they change this whole glue based battery because of this feedback. People are not liking it besides him. Let me tell you that much from the comment.
Hmm.
Okay, Quasey.
All right. This
I
is
don't know
where
how I
the
went
the
past all
episode
that
gets
so
long.
fast. Yeah, this is where it
This
gets
is where
long, but
the episode gets long.
this is so nice. Okay, as you know, June 6th through 9th, I believe is what it is WWDC. We usually say Dub Dub if you hear us say that. And that is Apple's worldwide like conference for the latest operating system that's going to come out for Mac OS, for iPhone, and for iPad, and probably
And
Vision
OS
OS as
and
well.
watch OS.
Yes,
They update every operating system. Well, they don't update it them, but they announce what updates are coming to each operating system.
I am.
Even AirPods get an update most
I am
years.
so excited for what I'm seeing coming soon. Aren't you?
Oh, definitely.
So what kind of I do with this is I'll read the first one, you read the second one, rinse repeat. So, first one, as you know, iOS 19 is going to be coming out in September of this year, and they're going to have some betas for developers and for public beta before that, obviously. So, we're thinking about iOS and Vision OS from the Vision Pro. There was a lot of people that liked that type of look and feel for the Vision Pro. And it looks like from the notes that Apple might be taking some of the Vision Pro aspects of app design and bringing that over to iOS. So a rounded icon with a 3D effect. I'm not sure it's going to have that like you look to the side and then it like moves with you. That's maybe going to come. That's not confirmed by anybody. But the
Right.
Vision Pro design apps that just circular and not just a square around edges is probably going to come. I like that a lot. And we're also seeing some revamps of some bug fixes for the first time ever, but not the bug fixes I want to see, just some of the minor small things. But one thing that is not coming that is confirmed is any Siri fixes at all. And Siri needs to be like, I just want an OS where Siri is not trash. I'm not sure about
Yeah.
you, but I kind of do.
Um,
But yeah. What are your thoughts with this, Quasey?
so definitely big on the new iOS design. I have a strong opinion. I'm always a little bit resistant to change, but maybe it's not such a bad idea. Maybe we do need to see a more glass-like design. Now, while I personally might not like it, it might be better for the community. If you can't tell, I really don't think I'll like it. Because when they changed, okay, actually, that's not true. Because I think last year they changed from iOS 17 to iOS 18. When that change happened, it was they changed like the drop down menu, or sorry,
Yeah.
they changed the control center, and it was like a little bit more rounded. It that looked better for me. That worked for me.
Yeah, let's do this. Can you go to that article from Mac Rumors and then click on iOS 19, the little link there, and let's show them what John Prosser from Front Page Tech has shown us as a design mockup that he believes is going to be the next iOS design feel. And he's a pretty big leaker. I mean, he's kind of slowed down with that a little bit, but there's some nice things that he's shown with this. So if you click, go back up.
I actually already clicked the iOS 19.
You definitely did. Scroll down, and you're gonna see some FTP screenshots.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this right here.
There you go. There's one. There's one down below. Keep going a little bit more. Right there. Can you zoom in slightly with this if you can? There we go. So this is the
Look, this is
potential
tracking item.
iOS 19, and I kind of like it. I don't know about you. Like, I think it's
Dude,
going to be nice. Now, I
here's
think
the
they need to
thing.
make some of the mock-ups look a little better, but they'll probably fix that, of course. I
But here's
guess
the thing. Why is why is it not a square but also not a circle? You know what I mean? Like, can we pick one? That's a squircle. That's what that
it's
is.
different. Now, this is not the like beta or alpha of iOS at all. This is a he's seeing what it looks like, and they're recreating this to not damage that source's leak.
Right.
I guess it was incriminating and they showed things they shouldn't have showed, but that's what they're gonna do. So that's just them recreating what they've seen, if that makes sense. And there's John.
Yeah,
We
that is
if I can
John.
get him on the podcast with Sam, that'd be such a great podcast episode because they're awesome. If you guys don't follow Front Page Tech and it is Apple Track and then Genius Bar, you should also give them a follow. We want to give them a shout out too. But that's iOS 19 visual design looks, and um, they're supposed to have better battery management as well.
Right. Okay, let's go
What?
back. Oh,
I did
are
not
you
see
reading that?
that.
Wow.
No. Supposedly, there's supposed to be a deal with Apple and Google to include Gemini as part of like a
I actually did. Where did I hear that? I think I was watching a YouTube video where I heard that. So Apple's been failing in terms of their large language model for Siri. So they've been talking about a deal with um either ChatGPT, Gemini, and there's one more. I think it's I can't remember the name. It's the other big one. Do you know do you know what I'm talking about? The other
there's a lot. So I don't
no,
know.
it's like a really big company. The one that was gonna buy Google or start,
Perplexity maybe?
yeah, Perplexity.
Okay.
And they've been kind of speaking with them, trying to insert that into. You know how Siri can ask ChatGPT right now? I
Yeah.
kind of want to have ChatGPT be Siri, something like that.
Yeah. See, does that mean it's gonna have like the Siri overlay, but the actual data acquisition is gonna be third party or
Pretty
what?
much, yeah.
Oh no. I don't know, man. I just had to see it to believe it.
It won't stop
Um,
screen sharing.
it's
There we
okay. We're
go.
gonna do a lot of posts, so it's okay. They're gonna have a Wi-Fi upgrade to include a newer technology for Wi-Fi. I'm excited for that. But our health app
Should happen.
upgrades. That's nice. Um, better accessibility options for reading stuff. That's nice too for those who need that. And there's a bunch more stuff here, but I guess we're gonna dive deeper into some of these ourselves and showcase them in the podcast when we see the betas come out, which I'm definitely doing. How about you, Quasey? Oh, definitely doing that. Oh, you're muted.
I don't know if I'm gonna get the beta this time. It's
What? You just said in the last episode that you were like you're into betas and you don't care about being safe. What's changed with all of that? It's because you're not in the same state anymore. What's going on over here?
no, it's
Come on.
I don't know if I want to. You know, this iPhone. This is what I like. This is the iOS I like. I like seeing this, right? I don't want it to be squircles. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't think I can handle a squircle.
Okay. Well, we'll see. So there's going to be a new Mac OS. We're on Sequoia currently, and I don't see much of the leaks from Mac OS. Do you? I have to see that. I guess the biggest discussion people are bringing up everywhere is what is the name going to be? Do you have any idea? So there is a bunch of names that Apple has trademarked over the years. Does
Yeah,
not mean
typically
that,
they're in California. Typically
yeah,
something California based.
like
So,
Condor, Redwood. Man, I can't say this next one.
Sequoia,
Shasta.
Oh, Shasta.
Skyline, Pacific, Miram,
Please don't mess
Mammoth,
this up.
Grizzly, Redtail, Rincon. Like there's some weird ones.
Yeah, those are all
Um,
ones that they haven't used yet.
correct. I kind of like Mammoth.
I don't know,
I
but
don't
I
know.
am excited to see what Apple's crack marketing team
Yes,
pulls up with.
as Craig Federighi says.
Yeah,
Um,
huge fan of them.
yeah, we'll see what they do with this. If you're gonna pick one from this little list here, let's go ahead and show the people this list. If you can do that really quick, please. On Mac Rumors.
Bear with me.
It's okay. We have a lot of posts. That's not a problem.
Thanks.
Okay, if you can
All
zoom
right,
in slightly.
let's zoom in slightly. This, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So these are the names that Mac Rumors is mentioning that's going to probably happen. Maybe. We'll see. They also trademark a bunch of names they're not going to ever use, by the way. So we'll see about that.
So my thing is, I don't think that Redwood has a chance because they just used a tree one this year, Sequoia. So I don't know. I think it
Maybe.
might be an animal one,
Oh, Grizzly.
either mammoth or grizzly or
Ugh.
Ridley. Sorry, either mammoth, grizzly, or redtail. Which I know is a lot of options, so I'm not really like making a concrete decision, but that's the direction I feel it's going.
Yeah. And since you're right there, let's go and talk about the iOS 19 AI powered battery management feature that is for sure coming to iOS 19.
So we definitely skipped number three, but
Did we
we'll
really?
circle back. Yeah, we'll
Oh,
circle back.
let's go to three. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm all over the
so
place right now.
there's supposed to be like new app designs, um, but it's more of in Apple's own apps, not like you're gonna see what your DoorDash app have a new app design. No, it's gonna be more of like inside the Apple News app. It's gonna look more like transparent, focus on the content, and the buttons and stuff are gonna look like they do on Vision OS. So like that'll be like Apple News, Apple Fitness, Apple Music, just anything with Apple in front of it, you can expect to have a new app design.
Okay. You might have to move a little bit closer to the mic, just so you know.
Did you hear a single thing I said?
Oh, I heard it, but you have to
Okay.
turn up the volume a little bit. That's okay. We'll go and post it. Just that one part, not the rest of it. So you're good. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be nice. I don't know if I need to have new redesign for these apps, but it's nice to see that they're gonna do that to make it more different because sometimes iOS doesn't always do drastic changes in their OS that makes it
Right.
just revolutionary. But we'll see. We'll see these make sense. Like I said, once we get this betas, we're going to take some screenshots. We're going to talk about it and see what you guys think overall too.
Okay. So
But
now on to the
oh,
AI powered battery management. Let's go
so
ahead and click on that.
I don't know how I feel about this. Obviously, I like the idea of having better battery life. No doubt about that. Everybody wants that. I don't know how AI is going to improve the battery. Is it going to reduce processes running or certain applications, or is it going to more flow with the OS in the sense of is it going to focus on what you're actually in now and give that more resources and reduce some of the other ones? I don't know.
I don't
So
know either, but
what we're seeing is there's gonna be new features coming to iOS 19 that's described as powered by Apple Intelligence. I There's two words in that sentence I'm scared of. It's Apple Intelligence, if you can believe it,
oh,
because so far it's been
lackluster at
yeah.
best.
I They had to do an AI. I understand that, but they should have never
They didn't
ever
have to.
announced Apple Intelligence before it was even close to being ready. We
Agreed.
are still okay. I'm gonna get upset here. We are still Quasi about 2 to 3 years out before it's all here. And that's not even including what they're going to come out with in the new iOS 19. That's not even including that. We're talking about what they announced like years ago. What what is who thought and who approved this to be even announced if it was so far from being ready?
I think it was the shareholders, kind of
They
banging
rushed
down
it.
Tim Cook's door.
They stopped them, lock the door, pull the shade down, and leave them alone. Stop that stuff.
Well, I don't know if that's
We need
possible.
more money.
The main source of
Apple
money.
Apple is not even close to being out of money or not making enough money at all. They are just greedy at that point. Stop it. Because guess what that's going to do? You're going to say this is coming out, it's not coming out, it's going to cause people to be upset, which is not good for market share, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but don't do that. Because now you can't utilize what's been announced. Like there's the air power. You remember that thing that they announced
I
that
do
is
remember the
coming?
air power.
And guess what? It never came because they couldn't get it ready. Do not announce it unless you have that done. It has been tested to work and ready to go. All you gotta do is make them. That's all you need to do. Do not announce it when you're like in the alpha stages where you're like, this could work great in 15 years. Don't do that because every person that exists on Earth today and maybe in the future, when you say this is coming out, do you want to wait for it? No, you want it now. I want iOS 19 now with the new iPhone now. That's probably because of Amazon's Prime stuff. I want it now. But besides all that, I don't want to wait 4 to 5 years to get that.
Right.
Unacceptable. Not good. When phones come out every single year, the OS should follow. Don't make this a big wait. If you're not ready for it, that's okay. Sit back, let it sit, and just make it good before you announce it. GTA 6 can do it. Okay, Elder Scrolls 6 can do it. They can be 6, 7 years before they even announce it. Just do that.
But I feel
Maybe
like
I'm
they're
just getting
gonna
upset.
start too behind, and you don't want to lose. Like, I feel like Adam, it's a double-edged sword because you remember Rim. What's it called? The people that made BlackBerry. You remember them?
Oh yeah,
They didn't jump on the new thing immediately, and as a
no,
result, they got
clean
left in the
button.
dust. So at least you see, like, I feel like this gives people hope that Apple is hopping on to the AI trend and
Yeah,
isn't willing to get left behind. And I think that's more important than getting it right now. Like, yeah, it's bad, but you know what's the best thing about being the worst? There's nowhere to go but up. You know what I mean?
that's true.
So it
What I'll say
good.
though, it's more of this. They said so many different features that's gonna have, right? Which is like I'm gonna guess 20 features. Let's just say it's 20 features. If you're only gonna be able to release three of those in that September for the new iOS, how about you just talk about those to start
Right.
with
But
and
I feel
say,
like that
guess
doesn't
what,
give
guys?
enough.
Guess what? We have more coming soon. Like you're gonna be so ready, like you can't even sit down. You're gonna be so excited for the next ones. But let's just focus on what we have now. Because I'm telling you, for iOS, I'm sure there's so much more that they're gonna do with the next iOS that's not even been announced yet, right? So let's just focus on what they have done now and ready to go for September. So when I see a dub, I'm like, I cannot wait to see this when I come in September and see this. Not, I can't wait to see this in 16 years when I'm gonna have to get like on AARP and like be retired before this comes out. It's not good. They had to do AI because everybody else is doing that. It's huge right now, and I get that, right? But just
Right.
just release what you can that's ready to go, because announcing stuff that's not going to be out for 10 plus years is just
False advertising.
I'm going to forget about it, Quasi, by the time it comes out. They're going to bring it up again in a
And
keynote
then
or
they'll
something, right?
surprise you.
But just do that when it's ready. That's all I ask, right? Like, don't tell me about a movie that's coming out that's going to be out in 25 years from now. Right? Nothing else in the industry does that. When they announce it, it's coming out that year or the next year at most. Not like a teaser for a new, chicken sandwich at Popeyes coming 2027. Would that make you just I would
Dude,
want to
I was gonna be
throw
upset.
I want to throw like cotton candy at them so they get the point. I don't want to hurt them. I want to get them the point that's not okay. That's all.
You just want to boo them.
So anyway, um,
Okay, but back to the actual topic at
yes,
hand.
sorry. So AI battery management. So I'm curious to see how this works because I mean, is this AI going to do something good with this, or how's it going
I
to
don't know.
handle that well? I don't know.
My thing is, you know how auto brightness is turned on your phone when you first get it?
Yes.
I really hope it's not like auto brightness, where it thinks, even after I turn the brightness up, it thinks, oh no, maybe I should turn it back down again. This is too
Yeah.
bright for him. It's gonna hurt his eyes. That's not what I want. If it's gonna change something about my battery, when I the user change that back to how it was before, it should leave it there. That is, I'm not gonna say it's one of my biggest gripes because I just turn off auto brightness all the time because of how annoying it is. But
It is. Well,
that's
it like you go in the sun, it doesn't just like dim or get too bright as it should. It instantly, it's delayed for me. I'll see it like get brighter in the sun after like 20 seconds. I could have watched a Netflix ad by then.
you know what really did it for me. Um, I was like in my bed, right, and then it would like turn it would like flash the light on my face and then the light would get reflected and it'd be like, oh shoot, it's kind of bright in this room, we can turn it up a little bit, right? And then when it realized it turned it up too much, it would turn it back down and it just kept doing that. Oh my God, it's so annoying, you don't understand.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
not
like
good.
manually fixing it and it's deciding, what is this guy doing? He doesn't know what he's doing. Let me do it.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like.
So going to the next one, which is not a good transition whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
This excites me a lot. Let me tell you that much. So live translation for AirPods. That is pretty nice. I guess that's going to require the person to speak up maybe to hear that because the mic with the AirPods is good now for like you that's using the AirPods, but is that going to be good for picking up like like how uncomfortably close do they have to be for this to work?
I don't know.
um, has to be a better mic for this to work than they have now. The mic's not terrible now. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for listening to another conversation with another person, it's probably not there yet.
Right.
So this feature is nice because so like my wife is Hispanic and her grandma like can speak English kind of, and she's actually good. She understands us, but you know, I have to listen to Spanish and try and translate that on my phone with an app I have, which works nice. But I like to be able to do that without having to pull up an app and just it just tells me this features I'm just excited for. You're going traveling to another country. It's great for that too. Um, I'm excited for this. What are your thoughts?
Adam, this is absolutely amazing. This is like the greatest feature
Incredible.
that's coming to AirPods since the the hearing aid feature. And let me tell you why. I've traveled to some different countries over the past couple of years. And you go there and the first thing you realize when you step out of the United States of America is that not everyone speaks English. That's the first thing you realize.
Truth.
You'll go to you'll go to the Philippines, and you'll be like, "Oh, they're speaking English." But then they start speaking Tagalog, and I can't understand Tagalog. But you know who can?
That's a language. I
My
had no clue that
Translate
was a
app.
language.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Tagalog is the language of the Philippines.
Wow.
I think the official language though is you know, I almost just said American. I was about to look so dumb, but I think the official language is English.
Huh.
And most people speak English there anyway. But when they realize you understand and they want to scam you, that's when they switch to their native tongue. And
Yes.
this could help me avoid getting scammed, is what I'm trying to tell you. And I think this is an absolutely outstanding feature. It should like I really hope it's not locked only to the AirPods Pro 3. Not for my sake, because everyone knows I have to get the latest AirPod Pros. Well, that rhymed, but that's not the point. AirPod Pros are probably the best AirPods, or not just AirPods, probably the best headphones. Well, I don't know if they're headphones, earbuds that I've ever purchased. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Adam. They just keep adding features. First it was dynamic mode, then it was hearing aid mode, then it's the ability to check the seal of your AirPods. There's just so much that, I'm sorry, the AirPod Pros are just arguably my favorite product from Apple. I lied. My iPad Mini is number one, but they're a close second, a
Yeah.
very close second.
I enjoy mine. So Quasi, I have to kind of put you on game here a little bit because we
Okay.
have some breaking news. As of 3:31 a.m. PDT, Epic has responded to Apple's Fortnite app ban.
Okay.
Ready for this?
I'm not
If you
ready.
go on Mac Rumors, they have mentioned that Epic Games has asked the judge to force Apple to approve the Fortnite app in the App Store. That's their response. They are now asking the judge to force them to do it. What are your thoughts?
I think it should be up to the discretion of the App Store, what the App Store puts on the App Store. I know I said App Store a lot there, but I think it makes sense. You should not be able to force somebody to sell something that they do not want to sell. That's like going to that's like going to a Lowe's. I don't know if they have Lowe's everywhere in the US. That's like going to a Home Depot and telling Home Depot that even though they want to sell their gardening tools and stuff, now you got to sell ice cream in the back of the store. That's outrageous. It should be up to the store's discretion what the store
Yes.
wants to sell.
It,
If
it
they
would
do
be
not want to sell your product, you should not be able to force their hand at all.
it would be like Burger King being forced to sell McDonald's on the side, like in the same store.
Especially when it's a competitor. That is, I feel like
And this
that's got to be an
technically
antitrust
is a
thing.
competitor
Yeah,
because it's not just a game; it's also a third-party marketplace. Did you see what their Apple's going to do? Also, by the way, Apple has officially responded for what they're going to do with third-party marketplaces. They're going to have a little pop-up that says like
yeah,
you can
something
use the
similar to
Apple
Venmo.
one, or if you can use the unsafe payment method of this
Yeah,
other third party. I don't know if that's the right words they should say
it might be
because
unsafe though.
but they're
It's more of
assuming
a
they are all unsafe. Like not just some, but they're assuming that if it's not through Apple, it's just unsafe. Which, you know, could be the case, but they're just assuming that it just is. It's either Apple safe or unsafe, not Apple. I mean, I'm an Apple fan. I like that, and it is a safe platform. But you can't tell me that, like, let's say they want to use PayPal, right, to use their transaction stuff. That's not unsafe, right? It's not like that they're using Yahoo Mail. That's unsafe. They're using
right.
platforms that is safe. I don't know if that's what they should have said. They should have said like, what's a better phrase? I'm trying to
It's
be
definitely
legal
discouraging
jargon.
them, is what
It
it's doing.
is. It's what's just like what Fortnite's doing if they get approved. Oh, do you want to use Apple's in-app purchases, or do you want to get 20% more
30%.
V-Bucks
Yeah.
if you go through this? Like, they can kind of do that too. I get that, but I think they need to have better wording for that. Don't say it's unsafe. Just say, um, something like, oh, you've used Apple in-app purchases this whole time. You trust us. Like, that's just on the spot to figure out what to say there exactly. But
Right.
um, to your point, I don't think that a judge should force Apple to put something on that they don't want to do. Now, if here's the exception to that, if the only reason they are not allowing Fortnite is out of spite, that is a different situation. Is it that this app is unsafe for your phone and for your iPad or Mac? Or is it that because Epic has just burned their bridges to be, a friendship with Apple, that they're just going to say, you know what, I don't like you because you have a hat on backwards. You're not going to get approved. Or is it that your app is does not meet our requirements for safety, for the size requirements, or for overall usability for devices. That's what we don't know. We know that it was on before, right, and working just fine. But
Right.
if they are declining this because of spite or whatever other bogus reason, that's different. But if you're not meeting the requirements because of this, like I really wish Apple would have listed why they were not approved. Not listing that makes it a little sketchy to me. Not sure what your thoughts are. But to your point, I think that they should definitely have the right to choose what they want to do and not be forced to do it.
I agree.
All
Well,
right.
wait, we have one more segment before it's time to go. You know
Okay.
what time it is, Adam. It's time for our app of the week. And this week I'll let you start.
You might want to go first because I have so many options to choose from. I guess think here still.
Okay. Um, Now this is gonna seem really big backed, but I gotta give my shout outs to my McDonald's app. My McDonald's app came in the clutch this week. It was what day was it? I think it was last Wednesday. I needed something quick, but I didn't feel like paying for food. I'll tell you what, Adam, them 4,500 points I
Man.
had on my app, three McChickens, free of charge. Oh yeah, McDonald's gets a shout out this week.
Okay. Okay. I have I'm gonna go back to one I haven't talked about too much. That's Delta for iOS. I love the concept that I can play some of my classic games that I play on Game Boy or Game Boy Advance and whatnot on my phone.
Oh,
What?
nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. Just saying that is because, Nintendo is just not,
Right
and I repeat, not going to bring like the Pokemon games to
to
the App
iPhone.
Store.
Absolutely not.
I mean, there's just been, 82 billion people that want to have this happen, and they can make so much money. They can buy 15 islands and just have 18 jets on those islands. But that's beside the point because they refuse to do that. We have to use stuff like this to allow us to play on this, and I can use the backbone or something else to play those games like I used to, you know. But this app, if you do not know, Delta is an app that lets you emulate it's Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, and I think 1 second here. Nintendo DS, N64, and DS games currently on your phone. Because as you can think and imagine, the iPhone can definitely play these games because those consoles were, not as powerful as your phone is now.
Right.
So the ability to be able to do that, and then I could use AirPlay, put on a TV with a controller, kind of cool concept as well, and just had those great memories like I used to. If I'm just waiting for a plane, or I'm just waiting for Walgreens to get prescription because it takes say, 17 years to get your stuff. In any case, I love that. Now, how you obtain the ROMs is, you get to figure that yourself. I'm not going to tell you that at all because I'm not going to get banned from YouTube or whatever from doing that. But in any case, the point is the app gives you the freedom to do that. And I love that. And it's just in the syncing of your game saves between, Dropbox, or whatever, phenomenal. So that is my app of the week.
All right. So that's gonna just about wrap it up for today's
Yes.
episode. Obviously we're gonna plug the Discord. We're gonna tell you to like and subscribe. We're gonna tell you to
Yes.
leave a comment on our YouTube video. And I think you can even leave comments on podcast on Spotify. Go do that because that's a really cool feature. You
Yes.
don't even have like just go try it out. You don't even have to leave it on this podcast specifically. Just go try out that feature because that's something I just learned this week.
Yeah. I wish Apple had that. They don't have that quite yet. I mean, they could put that into iOS 19, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
But yeah, for sure, like and subscribe. And, we want to hear from you guys. You keep hearing us talk and make some discussions about various different things. You want to hear your opinions about what we talk about. And if you're like, man, they didn't talk about this that came out, last week. Why are they not doing that? Well, let us know.
Right.
Obviously we're gonna, vet it and see if it's worth talking about. But for sure, let us know about certain topics you want us to discuss. if you have just some questions for us. Maybe you're asking why is Quasar like basketball, not baseball, like stuff like that, whatever. You
Because
know,
baseball is boring to watch. That's why. Baseball has to be the most boring sport to watch. I'm sorry, I don't understand how it got so big in 1910. That just it doesn't make sense to me.
See, so like that's a question. So if you have those questions for us, and open that discussion up, use our Discord for sure because we're there and want to engage with you guys. There's a lot of creators that do not do that. They kind of just do their thing, and then when it comes to the communication with their fans and then the audience, there's just not. And we're going to be the exception to that. Let me tell you that. We have some big plans coming up that we're not going to talk about yet. And we want to get you guys in the loop and just have an open discussion with you guys. So please do that for sure. And we're going to continue pumping these out. We love doing this. It's so fun. Um, but yeah, until next week, I'm Adam.
Yep. And I'm Quasi.
Okay,
And
we'll
we'll
see you
be
guys later.
guys. Adios.